Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at uranium energy. It is time for another update, and today we'll be discussing the reversal to the upside that has started in the last couple of weeks. We have been looking at this in the previous video as well, but we will be discussing the new levels of support that we must hold. And in this area we were already able to predict quite accurately when we should start looking for a low when we had a full pattern within this correction. And we will be discussing about that as well. But before we get there, I would like to go quickly through the large time frame for any of you who might be new. And here we are looking still at this potential series of 1-2 setups that could have formed in this area. And right now we should start seeing a third wave to develop to the upside, although based on the structure that has actually formed in this area, it is extremely limited in what type of patterns could actually still form this overall larger wave 3. Where right now we are tracking in the white scenario a larger potential wave 1 that could be forming. This would be a wave 1 up within it, then a wave 2 down, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave, and this overall structure would form a larger wave 1. That would be within one of the more bullish interpretations. And then in the blue scenario, we are tracking a more direct path to such an impulse where we would be looking at a series of 1-2 setups in this area instead, And then this should actually start forming a very, very strong third wave to the upside. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this isn't necessarily a high probability interpretation, while it is still technically possible, and while we did hold here the area of support for this potential 1-2 setup, it is quite unrealistic. It does assume that we have here 4 or 5 1-2 setups, leave alone the larger time frame 1-2 setups that we are accounting anyway. And most often when we get such large amount of 1-2 setups, it is the case that it doesn't work out. It is more likely that another interpretation is going to play out. And for that we have here the white interpretation as the main scenario. And never mind that, because still, even with all this going on, we were able to have great success in this entire uptrend. We were able to get like 10 or probably more successful trade setups in this area, and we were able to predict in a quite nice and accurate structure the potential bottom in this area of support. Areas of support, by the way, provided as soon as we have formed here the actual top. Now, with that said, in the previous video I have provided you this area of resistance in yellow to watch out for further possible extensions within a correction here, because at this point we don't have necessarily a high probability confirmation that this correction has already bottomed. We would like it to have bottomed, but there is no clear signal just yet. We don't have our initial 5-wave move to the upside to allow us to track such an idea. And in the previous video as well, we were discussing here the possibility of not actually considering this as the actual bottom of the correction, but instead this due to a small distortion, allowing this to be a truncation of the overall pattern, where we did shore open below this additional low that has formed in this area, but it was a very, very swift recovery. And it might work out better in the end if we consider the actual correction low as a truncation within this movement to the downside instead. Now, with that said, it doesn't affect us too much right now, because in this area we are still looking for a potential 5-wave move to the upside that could still work out. Right now we would be in the actual wave 3. Now, in the previous video we were focusing here on the structural resistance levels as well, specifically here in this area between let's say the $14 all the way up to the $15 level, and I was mentioning specifically here the 61.8% retracement to be a level to watch out for. And clearly we did get rejected at the 61.8% retracement, and previously we only had a small rejection here by the 38.2% retracement. Now, we were also looking still for further continuation to the upside, where we were assuming a possible top within this wave 3, although it was ongoing at the time, and continuation wasn't a surprise. But I would actually go ahead and even assume that we formed here the small fourth and the fifth wave in this area, where I would probably consider this as a third wave complete. Now, in that case, I would look for a large pattern where this would be a 1-2, this would be the third wave up, and we would now be in the correction here in the wave 4. Well, in that case, I would be watching out for additional levels of support, and we can even drag here the levels for the correction, and I would be looking for this waveform at the area between the $13.8 all the way down to the $13.3 for continuation to the upside, where so far we have pushed quite perfectly in a 3-wave pattern into the 38.2% retracement, which is the ideal target for the wave 4. But I have to say, I'm not yet convinced necessarily that this correction is complete. It does seem like it could very, very easily form another low, where this would work out as an ABC structure still, where we have only a 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th. That, yeah, we only have 3 waves down basically, maybe the 4th wave as well up, but we would still need a 5th wave in that case. And so far, we don't have enough data. It is too small of a time frame to look into this movement to tell, okay, is this a 5-wave move? Is this a 3-wave move? And there isn't enough data to reliably gauge the market sentiment, so we will leave it at the fact that, yeah, we got into the 38.2% retracement, and we want to absolutely not break here below the 50% retracement. While it isn't necessarily a break, or that this break isn't necessarily a signal of doom and direct descent into another low, yeah, forming a reset within this correction in the wave 4 or this correction in the wave 2 potentially, it is a signal that this structure will not be able to be trusted, and we will need to be waiting for additional data to have another pattern that we could actually track for this overall larger pattern to the upside. Now, with that said, in this area, I actually still need a few more highs to have this overall larger wave 3 complete, where, yeah, sure, we have here probably a series of 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, a 3rd wave up, we have here the 4th wave down, and then we need a 5th wave, and then another 4, 5 pattern to complete the larger wave 3. And once that is done, it would be actually quite a good signal, because at that point, it doesn't matter too much if this will work out in the 4th wave itself and then a 5th wave, or if we will be able to track a larger 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th and then a 5th within a larger leading diagonal. Then we would at least have a full 5-wave move within this area, and in that case we would be able to be considering this an ABC structure as part of a larger leading diagonal that could be potentially forming within the initial wave A to the upside of this larger ABC structure expected to form within this 5th wave to the upside. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is expected, again, to form an ABC structure within this 5th wave, and an A wave doesn't necessarily need to have a 5-wave structure, which actually forces us to need to be more flexible in terms of what we expect within this pattern to unfold. It will make it more difficult to be looking for potential trade setups, which is why the larger area of support, or the larger areas of support that we were tracking, were so important to look for positions, because here on the smaller time frame there is a lot less structure, a lot less reliable structure to work with. And with that said, for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.